welcome to the TV Collective Live. And our first podcast activation. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check out our podcast yet, but if you haven't, check out our YouTube channel and our first episode of TVC podcast. The making of the brand is live now. We're all very, very excited. Now, what we decided to do with this session. So for those who don't know, we have a podcast, but this time what we're trying to do is really explore the digital space and what it takes to be successful in that space. So what we've decided to do is, rather than just having the podcast, is to also invite some experts so we can have a conversation slightly deeper and explore what it takes to kind of look at some of the things. So this week's theme is creative freedom. So the conversation we're about to dive into will look at all the topics around creative freedom. Just before we dive in, thank you very much for being here. Just to let you know that this session is being recorded and we'll share in our internal community, and then obviously outside slightly wider, or clips will go out wider. There is a chat functionality, so please get involved and kind of put your questions in chat or put your conversations in chat. There's also a question option underneath the chat bar that you can kind of get involved and you can see who else is on the conversation. This is the first of 6 weeks, so please let people know. We're also running a challenge that starts tomorrow, so we'll be giving a challenge. Good to see everybody. Yeah, man, get involved in chat. And what we're going to be doing is running a challenge, so we're going to encourage you guys to really get proactive within that challenge, and there'll be a small group that will kind of hold you accountable and kind of really support you. So this conversation is all about how we can get really successful in the online space. There's a lot of things happening. D&I is on the downturn. TV industry is in free fall. So how do we continue to ensure that our stories are told? Let's introduce our guests. Firstly, can I introduce Luti? Luti from Ocean, and you're going to probably correct me on the pronunciation of that, but you've just opened up a new production company. We remembered you from, you had Luti Productions last year, and then obviously Adjani, Salmon as well. Before I introduce you, Luti, how are you? Thanks for being here. Lots have changed since we last. You're a friend of TV Collective, and a lot has changed since we last spoke to you, hasn't it? Ooh, I'm not hearing you. Are you? Yeah. Just make sure you're on mute. Just to prove that we are live. Go on, let's hear now. No, let's hear. No sound. Hold on. Thank you very much. And Johnny, take off your mic. Have we got some sound for you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, man. Yes, man. And
all right.
Give thanks, because you were featured in I think it was our first season of the podcast. So it's amazing to have you back. We've seen kind of
love.
Yeah, Dreaming Whilst Back go out already. What have you been? Yeah, and it was amazing to see, and you're kind of in production for Dreaming Whilst Back too, right?
Well, we're done. We literally finished the poster just today. So we're literally, we're out in October. So
wonderful.
Yeah, man, we're active.
Very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Luti, how's your sound? Have we got sound? Have we got you back? No, we don't have any sound. Can you do me a favor? Do you want to log in and log back out? Just log out and log back in and see if that helps, yeah? And hopefully we see. I'm going to start the conversation with Johnny while you come back in. Do you know what I mean? So for those who don't know, do you want to talk us a little bit through, while Luti's coming and sorting out his technicals, do you want to talk us a little bit through your journey from transitioning from Dreaming Whilst Black? Because I know it started on YouTube, right? And where is it now? And just it would be
where
really...
is it now? Well, I made a web series called Dreaming Whilst Black, that was released in 2018. In the end of 2019, BBC Three, a commissioner at BBC Three, Sarah Shanti, she picked it up, and when she picked it up, we kind of wrote the pilot, did the table read, was allowed to film the pilot. After filming the pilot, they're like, fine, we're still gonna air the pilot. These are all the steps. Sorry, guys, doing bedtime. But these are all the steps that, I had to jump through. Yeah, and the pilot went out to great success. We won a BAFTA, RTS, an International Emmy nomination. And yeah, BBC commissioned us to the season one with in partnership with A24 as distributors. A24 has then gone on to sell the show, so we are now on Showtime in America, CBC Canada, Paramount Plus, um, Amazon Prime Africa, which they did a massive rollout, and we're all over the place. I don't even know half of the place. I realized the other day we're in a Turkey, so yeah, we're there worldwide there now.
And would you say the kind of work that you've done, do you think that is owned, the success is owned to the fact that you're able to kind of leverage your success on YouTube? So what you were able to do on YouTube is that kind of gave you the calling card to take it to BBC, to take it on to this
Yeah,
journey.
it was the calling card, and we weren't necessarily viral, which I think is important to note. I think our most popular episode had like 17,000 views, which obviously in the world of virality, if you're not like 100 odd thousand, you're not saying nothing. But what it did give us was a proof of concept, um, a strong calling card, and we also it's almost like we found our voice online. So by the time we went to the BBC, when they started telling us, oh, we think it should be like this or be like that, we could actually say, well, actually, no, because we've done it and this has been the audience feedback. So actually, we want to do it like this instead, based on our own data and metrics that we had. So we kind of found our voice online before going to our network, which was super helpful.
Mm. Yeah, which is really, really important. I think that's what kind of having that kind of creative freedom. How long are you online and how many episodes did you have before you?
Nine episodes, one season, 9 episodes long. Each were like 7 to 10 minutes. The one was 15 minutes, but yeah.
Mm. Oh, we'll get into kind of how frequent you kind of posted and stuff like that. Luti, have we got you?
I hope so.
Yay!
Hey.
Wonderful. It's so good to have you here. Thank you again for coming back. I know you were with us last year for TVC Live, and lots have changed for you, and we've seen lots of big announcements quite recently. You were involved in Blue Therapy, right? Can we use Blue Therapy as a case study? And do you want to talk us through a little bit from its journey on YouTube to its kind of global success? Because now you are similar to Adjani, that is now kind of all over the place at the moment,
Mm,
isn't it? Yeah.
mm. Yeah, so I mean, unlike a Johnny who birthed the incredible series Dreaming Whilst Black from scratch, um, I don't have quite as much talent, but I do have an eye for talent. And so when I saw Blue Therapy, I was like, this is nuts. This is crazy. How could they do this? This is so like awkward. Like you're talking about your personal problems, relationship problems on a camera. What? And I knew it had really struck a nerve when it was both on like the Shade Borough and on the Aunties WhatsApp group at the same time. And it seemed like everyone was talking about it. So I did something about it. And I went and found the filmmaker behind it, the Adjani of Blue Therapy, an incredible creative called Andy and Maddie. And it wasn't just a one-off. He'd made the ZZ Mills show, Backchat London, and all these other shows that were
And
like
Charles,
really
you
popping.
can rinse him off with the shower head as well, innit?
Oh, we can
Um,
hear you.
so we
Tell
can
me.
hear
Oh,
you, Johnny. He's
sorry, I
on
do
dad
that
mode.
one, guys.
He's on dad. I got kids too.
We all
That
got
any
children. We
20
get it,
person
man.
here.
We get it, man. We get
Um,
it.
but yeah, and I linked up with Andy and I said, listen, I think we could take the show further, and he trusted me and saw the vision as to how we could take it from a YouTube thing to TV. And the Sarah Asante, I guess, of my story is another black female commissioner queen called Vivian Malokwu, who, like she did for Ajani's story, started drawing out all these parallels, gave the opportunity for us to take it to the next step. And that came in the form of a conversation at first. And she was like, she couldn't give us any development funding where they give you a bit of money to develop the idea a bit further. But she felt like the idea, just as it was on YouTube, couldn't just go on TV just like that. It needed work. And so literally over Christmas, I was like, look, don't even, if you can't give me development money, fine. Just tell me, tell me what you want it to be, and we'll just do it. And so she gave us some notes, and we went back and just worked through Christmas and New Year's and sorted out a new treatment. And you know, she wanted to see a bigger world. You know, the original was just in a therapy room. She wanted to see actuality and seeing what's their real life. You know, what happens when they go back home and confront the mother-in-law or the nosy best friend. And so we pitched that to her, and she was with it. And we were fortunate, actually, we had a bunch of interest and a bunch of no's as well. And that first season that we did with E4 blew up, and it did go viral, and it was, you know, millions and millions of views across TikTok and Instagram, and all the blogs picked up on it again. And it's because, you know, relationships are super universal, and at the same time these characters were wild. And so we had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, it went on to sell across the globe to Amazon, BET, and so on.
Was that? Sorry, go on, please. Go on. Mhm.
No, and I shouldn't drop it off there, because after the success of the first season, we were then in a position to take it even further. And so we've just recently announced our new deal with Netflix. So we're now doing Netflix, Blue Therapy on Netflix globally. And we've even taken the format now and expanded out, where we've reformatted it for Belgium. And that's the first of many countries where we want to take Blue Therapy. So we've got Blue Therapy in Belgium. I thought they were going to call it Blue Therapy in Blue Therapy Belgium, but that was dry. They renamed it Couples in Crisis, Couples in Crisis. And so we've got Couples in Crisis now, but it's basically blue. It's not even basic. It's exactly Blue Therapy, but they're white and Belgium. But it's the same. It's the same thing.
But that's amazing, though, that from YouTube you now have that kind of power to be able to sell it and license it. It's kind of every production company's dream, isn't it, to be able to have IP that you can kind of license and be out there working for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's also a place for that singular film, but certainly in the unscripted world, if you can get a format, you know, it becomes quite passive income. Like, you know, I say, oh, we made the Belgium version. I didn't speak to anybody in Belgium. Like, not even one phone call. I mean, we wrote the Bible. It was like 100-page document, which was like the manual, like the literal, like, this is the camera, these are the lenses, this is the camera layout, this is what we said to contributors, this is the form when we're auditioning them, this is we get every single micro bit of detail and handed it over to them, and they follow the instructions to the T. But then it becomes really passive, because then they can sell it to Istanbul, to Nigeria, or to anywhere else. And again, we didn't really have to lift a finger. It's the incredible folks at All Free Media who brokered that deal. But yeah, it is a great situation to be in, to make passive income, and that's where owning IP really feels like you own an asset, as opposed to most of the work I've ever done in the industry has always felt like I'm work for hire. You know, I'm working for someone. This is a job in some way. You know, it doesn't matter if I own my own company. It's a job, they own it, it's their thing. Whereas this is our thing. We're able to rent it out and make copies of it. Yeah, it really is a shift in the positioning.
That's a really interesting, quite liberating, something to think about. I think a lot of people are now talking about the importance of owning IP. And Johnny, can I ask you, when you were starting to have those conversations with the BBC, did you ever worry about the kind of authenticity? I know you said that you kind of spoke about proof of concept, but was that the thing that really kind of got you through and kind of allowed you to really say this is what it is? Or did you have
To
to
be
kind
honest,
of go on?
I feel like it was. I like learn from other people lessons. Me not like make the same mistake what everybody make, you see me? And I remember, because I watch a lot of content, and sometimes I watch black content in the UK, and I'm like, yo, like, well, why it just not feel, you know, yeah, it don't feel quite right. And so the black,
What is
the,
it? What is it like?
the black actors there, like, and me here it says black people make it, but it just not feel, something about it not feel quite right. And I'll never forget, actually, Kaya, a woman who made hood documentaries. And what I'd noticed because I interviewed to direct season 2 of Enterprise, right? And the scripts weren't ready at the time. And, in the interview, there was this white guy, white exec, nice guy. And I remember interviewing and I was like, oh, so like, what's the scripting process with them? And they're like, oh, kind of, he's just such a creative genius, so we just kind of leave him to it. And in my head, I was like, yeah, but he still needs a script editor. You know what I mean? So I was like, but because they know they're not white, they know they're not black. They didn't feel like they could give him notes. But at the same time, I'm used to seeing shows where the white people are trying to form black people in their own image. So again, it don't connect. So I'd seen both extremes happen about how black people were failed. And honestly, it's the grace of God that we have. Sarah is a black commissioner at the time. She was the only black commissioner, and I just so happened to say she was have. So she kind of guided us. But then even when we started going up to the higher powers, like in terms of like now head of comedy and da 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 da, I remember Kayode came to my read through, and I remember him telling me, he was like, bro, don't let these men water down your thing. And I remember, like, when people say things and so you feel a weight with it. And I remember feeling that weight and being like, rah, like he's admitting something without saying it.
Right, I
And I
hear it.
was like, right. So I was like, listen, we need to go 10 toes down on that thing. But for me, how we kind of tried to do that was always pad ourselves with our own. Like, who's gonna fight for me when I'm not in the room, right? So for me, again, I ended up acting in Kaide season 2, and they ended up having a white director. And I remember I had this scene with like rice and peas, and it was like, it's weird because it was like brown rice, but like green garden peas.
Oh,
And I
oh,
was like, right. So I went to the art department and I was just like, yo, just so me gonna know this ain't right, innit? And they're like, oh, what's wrong with it? I said, boy, I mean, it name rice and peas, but it's not actually peas, innit? It's kidney beans. But then I was like, they're like, right, but obviously this is just a set dresser.
right.
So I was like, so then now the production designer comes down, white guy, and it's almost like now I'm so, because I'm a day player. I literally did 2 days on man's show. But obviously now a day player actor, number 20 something on the call sheet, is now not doing the scene because the thing's wrong. So he's not all looking at me like, who is this any youth?
Mm,
But in that moment, I was like, Rob, Kaide he's the lead, he's executing it, like he's rewriting stuff. He has no time to come down to be like, well, what is Adjani doing? And I was like, oh, but your HODs aren't from the ends, bro. So
mm,
how, like, and then so it's almost like I did enough jobs to see the issues. So as soon as we were hiring, my first thing was director has to be black, full stop. Then my next thing was, right, my costume has to be black. My hair and makeup has to be black. Like I was like, we need to try blackify this whole thing, because when I don't have time to micromanage everything, I need to know that the people whose jobs it is, they know, so I can just rest while they do their thing. So I'm not questioning if the hair is looking good, or I'm not questioning if the set is right. Like why, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to have conversations about, like, even for, I don't want to have conversations about why are we getting yam instead, like they have pumpkin and squash and thing on the kitchen counter, and I'm like, I don't want to have a conversation about, yo, like, why don't you put some yam and plant in there? Like, but I'm like, but I can't have that conversation with, I don't want to have that conversation with nobody. Hire a
mm,
black person to do it,
mm,
so they
mm,
know what to do. And I think that is how we kind of kept. And even with season 1, again, a script consultant, black, script editor, black. Like, so I'm like, the custodians, who are the custodians of your story? And I think for me, a lot of why a lot of these shows have gone awry, or a lot of shows have gone left, is because whereas the writer had the best intention, the custodians of each department were not all so black. They may have been good in terms of their credits, but they don't know. And so I do genuinely think it is not me. What the best decision I made to keep Dreaming was Black Authentic is making sure that I hired people who understood what we were doing. That is the only role I had in it. The reason why it's authentic is because of everybody else who made sure they just did their thing.
So apart from just having that proof of concept, so you could kind of argue the point, also having that team, that support system around you who were brought into your dream, understood exactly what you were trying to do and spoke the same language as you, so that there was no kind of, no, I see. I've never, we always hear about the importance of having people in positions, but that really, really articulates exactly why the problem, how important that is, and makes your job a lot easier, right? Because like you said, you don't have to be.
Yeah, man, I have to stress. It's like Denzel said. It was not about having someone black, right? But like, do you know what a hair getting straightened smells like? Like, not what it looks like. What does it smell like? If you can't smell it in your head, then you're not right for the job. You don't know what we're talking about.
And that's okay. I suppose that's okay, right? It's the authenticity. Luti, for you, when you were doing, did you have that same kind of conversation, or how did you keep authentic?
Like bar for bar, everything Adjani said was just facts, and I had the same damn conversation that he had with Coyote with Nana Hughes, Black commissioner at ITV, and when I was making my first comedy series, Max, and she told me the same damn thing, gave me the same warning with the same fear in her eyes of projects that had been compromised and the projects that she'd fought through to making the incredible things that they were. And on Max, we took, I suppose now, a much less radical approach than Adjani, which was, our line was, we have to interview someone black for every single HOD, which is a much lower bar. It's not like we have to hire someone black for every single HOD. We have to at least see, because you will be surprised. The options that will come up will be, we'd have to pick between 3 white men on damn near every single role, from sound, catering, everything. And yeah, that needed to be radically adjusted. And we ended up with black composers, black crew at HOD level across the board, including the execs, where very few black production. I don't really know many black production companies, black-owned, black-led production companies that are independently producing scripted television. It seems every time a black company wins a commission, they have to co-pro some bigger white company. Typically, that seems to be the format, which is very problematic. So at the exec level, it's very hard to have that representation in the room, despite the fact there's some incredible black executives in the business. But yeah, same thing with Blue Therapy. Is the crews are very blackety black. I mean, I will say that last season, I didn't have as firm a grip on it. And I think I felt a little uncomfortable, honestly, when I stepped on set, because I was like, oh, rah, when you're not like militant about it, like what color are they? They would slip. It will slip. You have to be on. You have to be on it, like on every single role, because very quickly people will just turn to lazy hiring and they go to the guy who's done 3 other shows that's just like it, which invariably will be a straight white guy who's had the doors open to him in this industry for 20 years, and that's why he's got 3 other credits just like this or whatever, and so lesson learned for next time. I mean, gratefully, the editorial team is blackly black, and the stories are amazing again and authentic, and yeah, it's something that post Black Lives Matter being a hashtag that is popping off, those of us in positions of power in the industry, black, white, or Chinese, whatever, have to maintain this conscious effort to put our people in the positions where they will do the best job for the project. because otherwise you have this slip, and especially in comedy, right? Because comedy is so nuanced in terms of tone, and you know, yeah, if you've got too many voices in the room that start to shift things and cut things and water down things, and don't understand why something is like that, before you know it, it is slipped into something else. And so I applaud you, Adjani, for staying so on it across the board with your team, and it shows in the results. And I'm glad, without, we didn't even know each other back then, that
Yeah,
we
boy.
we're on the same wavelength of, let's make sure our people are represented,
I like the
Uh,
custodials of your story. I like that as a term. I think that's quite.
You know what it is though. You know what it is though, Luti, and this is why I'm kind of try to stay militant with it. Is it's constantly going that way, you know. So you see, if you just stop doing anything, it's gonna just keep going the way it's going, which is why. So you almost have to like actively fight it, and the minute you stop fighting it, it just keeps going back where it naturally goes. So that's why we try to like try stay on top of it. Because you're right. Anytime I take my eye off the ball, bro, I look, oh, white man. I'm like, bro. And it's not a bad thing. It's just like, yo, like, yeah, that's what will happen, isn't it?
No, but but when you do it for Belgium, you're what did you say? Couples in crisis in Belgium. Will it? How will that play out? Will it just?
It's a different thing. Look, it's a different thing. It's played to a different audience, to a different market, and so often, we hear about cultural appropriation, right? And that's where white folk have seen our source and been like, we can do that and do the same thing and do an Elvis Presley and resell black culture as white and make a shitload of money. With couples in crisis, this is cultural remuneration, where we're selling it, and you're paying us. Do you know what I mean? The black owners of that show to copy the source. You want to do it? It's fine. It's fine. It's for sale. It's for rent. You can have it, and you pay. And so yeah, and then they can do their thing, and it's Belgium. But again, it's for essentially kind of one of the cool things of blue therapy is therapy itself is often considered quite an old, middle class, and white thing. And so you take that but put characters that you might not necessarily associate with it. So in their case, kind of like these young couples with tattoos, and they're kind of like, they're fly. They're not the type you might necessarily associate with therapy. And you make a really cool, interesting show for that market. And I'm sure if we did it in Nigeria or wherever else, again, it'd be something different. But no, I'm not trying to export or make the couples in crisis in Belgium black, because they're doing something else over there.
No, man, we like that. Sell them the white thing as long as we get paid.
I like the it's the remuneration. I think that's a really important.
That's like, hold on. You want me to? I don't know if y'all noticed. You know, it's a black man make full Monty.
No, I did not.
Bro, there's a black man in Jamaica right now who just eats because he made the full Monty and shot that thing to white people.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I love telling everybody. It's funny, nobody don't know him, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna tell everybody, because we need to. The man them need to be doing this as well.
Yeah,
and that's the real thing, right? I mean, I want to get into kind of owning your IP in a minute. Before I do, just like we speak a lot about, and obviously a lot of people are talking about digital, and digital's the space to be in. You've spoken, Johnny, about kind of creative, the proof of concept. Does it really, when you've kind of done something online, does it really open a door? Are you trusted then to walk into a space, or do you just have another set of arguments? Because it sounds like you're now in a space, but now you've got to kind of then argue about its authenticity and this. How does it really give you the keys to the door, and how far are you able to kind of get in when you get in with, so now they're talking to you and they're interested in your show? Does it give you the kind of final say, or how much confidence do they have in your ability to kind of be able to produce,
it depends on when and for what. So like after the pilot, there was still like, I remember actually at the RTS Awards, because there was a change of guard at the BBC, and at the RTS Awards, the new head of comedy, John Petrie, kind of came up to me and introduced himself, and he was like, "Look, I heard what happened during the pilot, and I'm sorry that you had that experience, but like, just know I'm telling you, do what you want." He's like, "You've clearly like." You're sitting here with an RTS and a BAFTA at the time, a BAFTA nomination. He's like, just do what you want, right? He's like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure we will push back, but do what you want. You know what I mean? So they kind of gave us the keys to say run with it, and we just kind of did that. I don't know for another idea. I think it's funny because I think we get boxed in a way where I'm sure if I pitch another comedy, they'll be like, great. But as soon as I pitch a drama, is no questions. You know what I mean? But it's drama me I pitch now. I've just been pitching dramas. So I think it just kind of, it's like they say you want to get your foot in the door, but you get your foot in and you say, oh wait, another door there right there. So but you can't eat here. But like you're like, oh, it's not as big a room as I thought it was here. There's a next door. So well, let's keep knock them down and keep going in further, you know what I mean?
Luti, for you, did it having kind of had the success online of Blue Therapy, did it automatically, not automatically, but it did give your commissioners or Channel 4 a real sense of confidence in terms of, or was there quite a battle? And I know that you had Vivian on board as well, so you could speak.
I suppose there's different steps to it, right? So I think, going from YouTube to TV, huge battles. Everything was under the chopping block. Even the name Blue Therapy was chopped. It was like, no, it's going to be in Love and Toxic. We're like, no, it's going to be Blue Therapy. That's what everyone knows it as. And, and so, we picked our battles, and Vivian was spot on with like a high percentage of her notes, to be fair to her. But like, everything was under question and under scrutiny, and it was tough. And I think making a first season of everything is really tough. The new series we've just done with Netflix, like, I mean, they didn't give one note on the treatment. They were just like, just run it back, basically. They had one major change, which was about the authenticity and the realness of it. And they were like, look, they need it to be real, not a single, no TV. Can you go? And we had a lot of creative license, put it that way, with Channel 4, whereas Netflix has made us make it really real. So it's going to be different to what people expect, but in a good way. But that was the only real challenge. But apart from that, we've been allowed.
Ooh, we've lost your sound. Is that me? Have we lost your sound? Did I hear it?
I can't hear him either.
Yeah, you clicked out. Yeah, you lost your sound. Check. I mean, while you're doing your sound, I think that kind of, the more you grow and the more people are confident with your work, you kind of get more confident. But if you try and break out into a different space, it becomes challenging. Adjani, I want to talk about kind of retaining IP or the importance of IP. When you were kind of taking Dreaming Whilst Black to TV or shopping it around, can you talk about the importance of choosing the right partners to kind of champion your vision or to work with, and then also offer some advice about navigating that business side of the industry? Because oftentimes creatives are just about creative, right? So how do you scale up?
To be honest, I was lucky enough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was lucky because even Luti saying what he was saying, like I remember actually the conversation was, do we just call the show Dreaming? Like just that alone. And like the whilst black is a bit narrow. And I was like, but you might like when my beans can label beans. You get me? Like me don't want it labeled nothing else. Like, so the whilst black is like, yo, is the bat signal to black people for say, yo, this is for you. You get me? Like if we just the dreaming, we don't know who that be. You get me? But I think I was lucky. We tried to get loads of agents, and the only agent that was interested in me was a black guy who had just been promoted to be an agent. So subsequently, I have a black agent, right? But then even after that, again, we tried to shop it to every production company. He tried to shop it to every production company, and everybody kind of turn it down and lull it. And it's only the Asian production company who was interested, and that was Big Deal Films. Subsequently, they then shopped it to every TV network, and the only commissioner who was interested was a black woman. So
Oh wow.
that I had just a weird cocktail of luck
Mm,
of like have a black agent who's willing to be like, bro, call it whilst black in it. Like, don't like that's the name in it.
mm,
Like to have a Asian production company where them man are like, yo, we get it, we have to ride for the thing.
mm.
And then a black commissioner, like so is luck really how, as I said, the custodians of the story helped us. Um, but everybody said no. I'm a like for remind every network when we meet with them, when them say, what do you have next? I say you missed out on what you could have had.
Mm.
Like, you get me?
Adjani, you say it's luck, right? But actually, I think it's taste.
Mm,
Parasante's got taste, and that's why she was
yeah,
able to see what you have. You know,
yeah.
and if when it's something dope and it's from the culture and there's someone who an executive come to a black production company and they recognize it, of course they're gonna go to bat for it. And so, in a way, it's by
Mm,
design. It's unfortunate the
yeah.
way the industry set up that you know there's how many black production companies with funding or with backing
Mm,
stuff, very very few. um and so yeah, anyway, so yeah, luck, sure, but also there's the taste that people from your own culture will have and will be able to recognize,
Good to see and just identify no good thing. You spoke before about the difference, kind of like when you were working in TV and you were making programs that felt a bit the job in for the difference of this experience and while licensing it out. Yeah.
Mhm.
Louis, can you kind of talk to us or give us the critical differences between kind of licensing your work versus kind of selling it outright and the kind of power that that gives you? Mm.
Yes. So look, in the TV industry in the UK, there's a thing called the terms of trade. And so BBC, ITV, Channel 4, all of them, in effect, when they work with you, they will not take the copyright away from you. You will own it and you will license it to them. However, if you're dealing with a Netflix or an Amazon or one of these other sort of streamers, the typical deal is that they will own it, right? And so what what that means is your upside in terms of if that show goes on to sell like Adjani's has or like our shows have internationally, you don't really see the revenue from that, however, for example, just now we just done a deal with Netflix, right? They're giving us like 3 times the budget that we were getting at E4, right? In
Wow.
total, it's 2 more episodes, so maybe, but even per episode, it's 2 times, 2.5 times the budget per episode. So
Mm,
we don't own it anymore. They own it. They can all over Netflix, all over the world. We're not going to make any extra money like we did when we owned it with the Channel 4 version and just licensed it to other territories. So there's kind of like can be pros and cons of both effectively, and often you're in the scenario that Adjani was in where there's only one buyer. So if there's only one buyer, what the fuck are you gonna do? You just gotta accept the deal that you get with them. But sometimes, and we've had it now on a couple shows, you get in a bidding war, and there's we've got a show right now where Sky said they want it, Amazon said they want it, Amazon US and Netflix UK said they want it, and they're 3 completely different deals. And we make it with Amazon US, the budget's going to be 7-8 million per episode plus. We make it with Sky, it might be 3.5 million, but we're going to own it. We make it with Netflix, again, it might be around 4 million, but although we won't own it, we're going to get the production fee, and it's not just going to be like this EP deal or whatever. So there's like different models, and when you have the luxury of choice, you can kind of work out what is the best situation commercially. But a lot of the time, like in fact, with this current scenario, and just like it was with Blue Therapy, it's hard to guess, right? Because we could make this with V4, we could own it, and who knows? This time we might sell it to blah 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 blah, you know, or maybe we won't. And you know, I wouldn't get too dogmatic or philosophical about it. And also, it's worthwhile noting, whether you own it or not, you're still answerable to a client. Like when we're making for E4, we start to make whatever freaking changes that we all able to agree on together. It's not like, oh, we own it, we do what we want. At all. It's not that at all. And it's not abundantly, it's not always the truth that you will make more money owning your show than you will licensing it.
Facts.
I think what's most important is like, where's your show going to be successful? Like, where is it going to have the audience, and where is the creative team behind it gonna like really back the thing? And the money's important too. You know, and so I'll do a formula. I'll be like, well, I think in a good case scenario, worst case scenario, medium case scenario, this is what we're gonna make. And then in this other room where we know the first check is the last check, this is what we're definitely gonna make. And then weigh the two up. I'll even do I get mathematical, I do calculations, and I come back, look, I think we're gonna make 30% more money doing it this way. But this might be the better creative option. You know, what do we do? And for us, you know, making sure that the creatives who are behind the projects that we're doing, that they are part of these big decisions, that that they're not just, you know, part of it in terms of the decision, but also part of it in terms of the remuneration, because we don't want to just sort of copy the exploitative behaviors of other production companies that come and just take the culture and exploit it. That's not our model.
So, and that's a really interesting, because I think that there's so much talk about the importance of owning IP, and but in that scenario, you still say the importance of talk to me about the importance of owning IP. It is still important to kind of have a project and own it, right, and own your own IP, right?
Yes, look, as a production company, being able to control your IP is your value in terms of an asset perspective. But in terms of revenue, you know, the Netflix check is fucking good. What can I say? It's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
man. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
The money, and you can have it, because but look, there's a price to everything. Look, if you own the IP, because we own the IP, we're able to do Couples in Crisis in Belgium, and we're able to, and even our deal with Netflix, to be honest, we really own it. You know, if they don't recommission it quick, we get it all back pretty quickly, and we have favorable deal terms that we wouldn't have had we not owned it in the first place. We have a deal which I don't know what anyone else is getting, but in terms of the rights and so on, the deal we're getting with Netflix today is fantastic because we owned it from jump, and we made a success of it from jump. You know, by owning your IP, you've got the ability to, that, you know, the upside is potentially infinite. Whereas if someone else owns it, you know, it's theirs. It's like the difference between selling your house versus renting your house. Yeah, I mean, you rent a house, you can make money for infinitum. You know, it might make small amounts of money, but it was also a right time in the market to sell. If the house prices are booming, sell that right, sell it.
You know what it is? To add on to Luti's point, I remember when the whole Michaela Cole thing, where she turned down, must say, like $1 million from Netflix. Yeah, I remember somebody asked, because she wanted to own it. I remember somebody asked me, "Oh, would you turn down $1 million from Netflix to own Dreaming Was Black?" And I said, "Hell no." Like, I would sell that backside in a heartbeat. Like, because our positions are different. You get what I'm saying? You have to make the best decision for yourself at the time. At me living in my aunt's house, where man's scraping to try and get £500 a month to pay my auntie for rent, of course I would have taken $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And equally now, like, I actually own a minority share of Dreaming Was Black because of A24's deal. But that minority share just means technically them can't do nothing if me not okay it. But whatever them do, them get the lion's share of the money, which is fair. They put in a couple £1 million into the show, right? But again, you have to, like Luti's saying, you have to weigh up the options about where you are. Because even when I was contemplating my deal, my agent was like, bro, Phoebe Waller-Bridge does not have as good a deal as what you have right now. When she did Fleabag, her Fleabag deal is not better than my Dreaming Was Black deal. So the man said, they ever take it personal, like them I try steal from the black man. Like, you gotta make decisions based on where you're at. You get me? And so you may be the case of like a rap man who have a deal with Netflix and Supercell, where obviously again, take the cash, they own it. Or you might do a Femi, where Femi owns Intent and licenses it to Netflix. But you just have to weigh up the position that you're at. Like, Femi could raise funds to make a proper feature film himself, him and Nikki. Whereas me no know if Rapman would have be able to get 6 million or 5 million per ep himself to make Supercell. You get me? So you have to weigh up the decision based on what you have. So it's not, yes, I do think eventually everybody should try own them IP. You understand what I'm saying? But like, in terms of career progression, you have to play with the cards you dealt. If it's only some 4 and 3s in your hand, you just have to accept that you have and do what you can do with that until you get some 10s and jacks.
I hear it.
You know what I mean?
I hear it. I want to also open up the space for questions. Oh, I see a couple of questions coming in. Yeah, so make sure that we're opening questions. I only got a few more things to ask you, Luti, particularly for you. Before you were kind of talking about gatekeepers and kind of how how you have to kind of fight hard, or you both spoken how you've had to fight hard to kind of ensure that people don't dilute your content, ensuring that you're employing the right teams. And I love that custodial of your stories. Now that you're like the founder of the, am I saying it, Osun Group? Am I saying that right?
Ocean.
Osun.
There's an invisible H. You've heard of a silent H? There's an invisible H.
Okay, Osun. Tell me, it's got a really beautiful meaning. And then also I want to know about, because you tell me a little bit about the group, and now you're kind of a gatekeeper yourself, right? So how do you kind of support or ensure that you're not kind of having, you're not diluting or watering down people's work? Or, I mean, obviously you have an appreciation of culture, but how do you ensure that you don't become the gatekeepers that you were before?
No, I think gatekeepers are both like, could be a positive and negative thing, right? If they're opening the gate, then it's great, isn't it? If they're closing the gate, then it sucks for you. And I think we say no to the vast majority of things that come to us, and that's not no, you can't ever make your show. That's just, it's not for us. And it's because we want shows that are of an excellent standard, number one. Number two, that we really vibe with and love the creative that's behind it. And number three, that we think, there's a place for it in the market and we're the right people to make it. If it's not all of those things, if it's just like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, that's a no. It's got to be fucking awesome. It's got to be like a no-brainer, like, oh my God, we have to do this show. And if a show's like that, then we want it. And so it's gatekeeping. Yes, we're gatekeeping. No. And every now and again, there's a yes. And then that yes, we fucking cherish that little baby. We nurture it. And when it's time to sell it, we sell the shit out of it. We go and say, no. This is the show you have to make. Even after it gets turned down, we go to America, we'll go to Canada, we'll go wherever we need to, because we're making a show. So yes, there's gatekeeping. And yes, it's also going to go through our filter. Because again, we have taste, and I think the best, collaborators in the business will level you up. Very rarely have I worked with an incredible director where you can just leave them at it and they are the smartest person in every single room and they always make the best decisions without ever being challenged. And I've worked with a lot of people, and I think there's two people where I just, for the most part, let's just do everything they say. And actually, my approach generally towards creatives is, as I describe often, is like getting people the fuck out of their way so they can really cook and really make the most truest version of what they want to make. And that's how I've made my most successful things, which have broken records and won awards, is by letting that creative do what they want to do. But at the same time, very often it's working with that creative and challenging them. Why do they do that? Is there another joke we can put in here? What's this person's arc? is this character two-dimensional? What are the, why are you only looking at these DOPs? Why aren't you looking at these American DOPs, or this American actor, this BAFTA win? Who said they won't do it for the money? Have you asked them? Have they said no? I love to get no's. That means we're trying to reach above whatever we're expected to do, and so I love bringing our own lens and effort to things, and often with a lot of our work, hopefully you recognize that a lot of it's quite elevated and polished. It looks high end, it looks American, it looks glossy, and it's because when it comes through our filter, it's about elevating the aesthetic and not just making something which is good on the page but isn't beautiful to look at. It needs to be both. Why do we have to pick? It should be both. And so that's our lens. And the problem with it, the lens and the filter and the watering down, or whatever you want to call it, that's out there, it's been the same white breaders, carbon copy of them, Tom, Dick, and Harry, and they're usually called Tom, Dick, and Harry, that are running these production companies that everyone's stuff has had to go through the filter of. And so it's all same. And so yes, at Oshroom we have a filter, and it's not just it's a filter, but it's also a bar that people have to elevate to, and it's also a challenge. Even when you get something in the door, that we want to make it better and better and better and better, to the point that is undeniable, and that's the energy that we're coming at it with. And if that's not for you, great, goodbye. That's fine. That's fine.
No,
I want to make dope shit.
No, and yeah, I love that, and kind of setting those standards to the highest standards, right? And Journey talked earlier on about sometimes Black content from the UK just feels a bit so we want to bring the highest standards. Listen, there's quite a few questions coming on, so I'm going to put them up on stage, and we can kind of get through. Can you guys see these questions? Yeah. So we have. Oh, can you see that? Let me open that up. Oh, there we are. Can you see that question here? So. Sabrina, this is a question from Sabrina. She says, I've binged both series and they're amazing, but it took someone recommending it for me to find it. Do you think broadcasters understand how to market your content, and what more can be done to make sure content is seen to a wider audience?
No.
Okay.
I can't speak to Netflix, because Netflix obviously has their own machine. Like Netflix has a machine. So if them want you watch something, them are gonna force you to watch it. Like them are gonna slap it on your front page till you watch it. Whereas I think local broadcasters, again, because they don't have a lot of minority content, they don't even have experience. They don't have experience. Even they've never tried to. They don't try to reach Black people generally. So on the other occasion that they do, it's kind of like, do we call Stormzy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's the first Black thing that comes to mind? So they unfortunately they don't, and I think unfortunately they don't also have the purchasing power of Netflix. Again, when Netflix wants to do something, I remember before even the trailer of Supercell come out, I remember coming out of Oxford Street and seeing a bus wrapped in with the Supercell poster, and I was thinking, these men are pushing the thing. And my cousin works at Amazon. A bus package is £350,000 minimum. That's a bus package to get the tea and the all of that. You get me? So unless you're dropping, bro, that's an episode of Dreaming Was Black. So they don't, you know what I'm saying? They just don't have that power. And so I do think there are people inside who probably would know how to do it, and those are the people who Netflix hires and just lets them run wild. But I think local broadcasters don't have the resource to compete with Americans. So inherently that affects the most marginalized the most.
Yeah.
Which ends up being stuff like Dreaming Was Black.
Just to add to that, if there's time at all, I don't think broadcasters do a great job of promoting any of their shows.
Yeah.
And then they do an even worse job when it comes to Black shows.
Right. Yeah. They're not great at marketing posters.
And some of my mentors are white older production guys who've been in own production companies for 10, 20 years, longer than me, told me you've got to promote your own shit. You've got to promote your own shit. And so, especially so if you're making Black content, and with Blue Therapy, we went ham. We spent our own money from the production company fee, and we do that. We'll do that on all of our shows, to do additional publicity, to do additional social media content. You know, we made a whole scene with this couple having an argument in the Sainsbury's car park, and had it go viral on Shade Borough and all kind of craziness.
I knew that wasn't real.
Yeah. Because we knew how to infiltrate the blogs and and because we speak that language, but we didn't even ask Channel 4 permission to do this shit. By the time they even catch up their brain to it, they're behind already. Don't put that on YouTube. But I haven't gone through the Netflix marketing side yet, so I'm hoping they do me the Supercell package. I don't think they will. I don't think we quite have that. But yeah, fingers crossed. It's a dope.
All right, we got a few questions. I'm conscious that we're kind of coming to time.
Right.
You guys can, if I know, and Johnny, you've got little man around, but if you guys have got a couple of minutes to be around, that would be wonderful.
Cool.
But let me kind of speed through, and we're gonna, if people are up for it, we're gonna do a little bit of networking as well. Do you have any tips on pitching to Netflix?
Yes, very quickly. Just when you pitch to Netflix, your proposition has to be very clear. If you can't pitch it in one sentence, you guys talk for an hour to explain it. Forget about it. It's got to be clear. Number one. Number two, it's got to be distinct. And number three, it's got to be awesome. And number four, bring it to us first, because if you bring it through the door for a production company like ourselves who have an amazing relationship with Netflix, then that is the way to pitch it to Netflix.
See, there was an opportunity there. Before I move to the next question, do you think that SVODs offer more opportunities for our stories?
I mean, look, they're just bigger, like, full stop. Like, yeah.
I think Netflix does. I don't think Apple. I don't think Apple buys a lot.
Yeah, Apple TV is super restrictive.
I don't think a lot of Netflix buys a lot relative to the others. But BBC
Prime Star spends some money to know.
Which is interesting. All right, and Johnny, I'm going to do a quick fire. We got a question for you. What is the most unexpected challenge you faced transferring Dreaming Whilst Black over from online to TV? And that's from Paula. Hi, Paula. Good to see you here.
It was just a beast. Like, up until that moment, we'd written a web series, which was short films, essentially 9 short films, 9 like 10-page things. And even when we got the pilot, it was like, oh yeah, it's just a long short film, 25 pages, easy. But when you now say, cool, you have a season and it's 6 episodes, essentially it's 2 hours of content, but it's 2 hours worth of scripts where each episode had to be self-contained, but each episode also had to string across. So it's like you need your series arcs, and then you need your episode arcs, which lead to your series arcs. And it's like each episode has 3 acts, but your season also has to have 3 acts within itself. It was just a massive leap of storytelling, which even now that I'm writing a film, I'm kind of like, oh, it's just 3 eps, because like it's shorter than a TV show. But yeah, I think the leap of mining that much story was the biggest challenge for us.
Go. Okay, thanks very much. Go. One more question from Rajesh. Good to see you, sir. You've both charted your course. Who have you got on the team around you? Lawyers, business affairs, consultants, agents, mentors. Which have been your key relationships that have navigated the sharky white waters?
Sharky white waters, hilarious. I mean, I've got a fairly substantial team. You know, we have a head of unscripted, head of drama, head of comedy, business affairs, accounting, head of production, finance director, lawyers.
No, you're a grown-up production company.
Mentors. But I've had a fairly sizable, I've had 5 to 10 employees for the last 10, 15 years. But I think what the TV Collective and Breakthrough Leaders really added to that arsenal was mentorship and coaching. And for me personally, that was really game changing and allowed me to onboard even better and more amazing people. So recently we welcomed Sheila Notley, who produced Supercell. She's now head of drama and executive producer. She's a killer. Tara Ione, who's been someone who I've worked with since forever, has sort of come up with me. Those day one people are essential. And I've had really supportive allies, some white allies who have come and backed the thing, like James Jackson, our lawyer, who really took on board our work like pro bono for the first year or two, like with our developments and stuff. And he's making very good money from us now, but he really backed the thing. And so it's a whole combination of all races. But yeah, I have these 3 killer women who run my creative team, Georgia, Tara, and Sheila, and they boss it.
The importance of teams.
Yeah.
Just before we're going to kind of slightly wrap up and go, maybe do some networking, but I just wanted to ask you, and I think this is a really perfect question that we can kind of wrap on. What does creative freedom mean to you? Could you sum it up in one line? Adjani?
Having the resources to do whatever I want, really. And the key word is resources, because everybody can have ideas, but like ideas need stuff. So I think creative freedom is to have the resources to do whatever I want.
For you, Luti?
I think creative freedom is listening deeply to one's intuition and not being distracted by the noise of how it's always been done or what the market wants. But what is the best version? What's the fucking awesome version of it that you would want to see and make, and pursuing that at great lengths whilst being able to actually attain the resources to go make it.
Beautiful, wonderful. Thank you, guys. That's been absolutely amazing, really insightful, really useful. And I really think it kind of dispelled some of the myths that we might have in terms of YouTube to TV and how easy, or we did TV from you know how easy that journey is, the realness of that, the challenges we still face as people of color, particularly as we're Black. So I really appreciate you. We are going to go in and do some online networking. We're going to close this room. We're going to go into a fluid space. What it means is that you use your arrow buttons on your computer and you can bounce into people and start talking. Those who've been on some of our sessions would have done that before. I can't thank you guys enough. You've both been wonderful. Oh, I see that I've got another page. There's another question before we go. How do you both manage your time and stay effective while being in the creative industry with regards to emails, writing, disruptive schedules, parents, all that kind of good stuff? How do you stay on top?
I can quickly answer that. I don't.
With that too.
I read a terrible book. One day I read Deep Work is a great book. It talks about like really getting into it. And the man said, yo, he's paid to lecture, not answer emails. I said, you're actually right. I'm not paid to respond to emails, man. Y'all pay me for scripts. So the minute when you tell me, say, write the script, bad man, I'm out. And I'm an agent. My agent calls me all the time, and it's like, bro, like we're doing something with Studio Canal, and then man was like, brother, the head of Studio Canal's emailed you, and it's been 3 days, and you left man unread. And I was like, because I'm writing my script in it, and he's like, just respond to the thing, bro. Like, and I'm like, cool. So I don't stay on top of it. I absolutely block out time. I block out time. I know say 3 hours or 2 hours. No matter what happens, I this me I do. And yeah, the parent thing, as they said, this you supposed to be in bed from 7 o'clock, and I'm still I run up and down with him uncle because I'm not there. Yeah, but I'm gonna deal with him in a bit. But yeah, block out block out time and prioritize, and you're paid to write. That's what you're paid to do.
Yeah, good
So
advice.
just do it.
For you, Luti, any advice on that? Your parent as well as what?
Yeah, no, I'm a parent. I got my 3 running around upstairs. So yeah, a couple of practical things. One, there's new AI tools which I use, for example, to clear out my emails. I use something called Superhuman. It's relatively cheap. It's a really efficient way. I go through my emails now in half the amount of time, which is great. But actually, as like a workaholic, what I actually needed to stay on top of things was to have better boundaries. So I remember I told my coach that my daughter would complain when I'd pick her up from school and I'd be on the phone on a business call, and she's like, "Daddy, I hate it when you pick me up from school and you're on the phone." And I was trying to explain to my coach, like, look, I got to, as a commissioner, I had to pick up the call, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" And just getting that wake up conversation with someone like, no, you can that commissioner can wait for 1 hour while you go pick up your kid from school. And
you know what? White men are good at that shit as well, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They're good at that. Just lock off.
Say I'm not available. Like, that was the lesson I actually needed to learn, to prioritize the real things, because work and hustle was like, yeah, that's all sick, but family's first. So, yeah, and then support. My girlfriend right now, she's managing 3 kids up there, making a meal, so I can do this call. And yeah, getting support from friends, from family, that's all necessary to go do this thing, and I'm blessed to have incredibly loving ones around me. So use the technology that's out there and appreciate the family that's around you and whatever support you can get with the little ones.
110%. I'm gonna take that. My daughter is always telling me the same thing. And she would love, she's kind of sitting down there saying, see, turn off your phone, in it, mum, when they answer me, in it. So I absolutely agree with you. Listen, guys, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Tomorrow we're going to release our challenge, and that allows you guys to get involved with this conversation slightly even deeper, if you want to get even deeper. Next podcast is out next week. Next session next week is with James Loveridge from Little Dot Studios. He's going to get really practical in terms of how you can kind of really level up your YouTube channels and start making and attracting money. Thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing. This is our first activation. I'm really excited that we've kind of got here. It's been amazing. Thanks for all of your support. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We've gone through a lot of hard work, so and we've got lots of amazing information. So let's make sure that we share it far and wide. Thank you so much, Kings. I absolutely adore you two. It's probably 2 of my favorite kings in the industry. I love what you're doing.
Bless.
I'm so excited. Let us know when Dreaming is on so we can stream
October the 9th.
October the 9th.
The 9th. They ain't advertise it yet, but that's the date. I don't have time to wait for nobody.
October.
So if there's any press here, don't out the thing publicly. Just know it for your friends, innit?
October the 9th. Where are we gonna see it? Where do we see it?
BBC 3 iPlayer. We're outside.
Wonderful. And Luti, when are we looking forward to seeing Blue Therapy on Netflix?
Blue Therapy early next year, but right now go check out White Man Walking, which is on BBC iPlayer as well.
Mad.
Bad man film. All right, listen. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you. For those who can stick around, we'll see you in the networking room. Temi, thank you. Oh, thank you to Sabrina, who organized this. It was absolutely amazing. Thank you to Temi, who's behind the scenes, working really hard and making sure everything runs safely. We'll see you in the networking. See you, and thanks again, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye.